Thank you so much for taking part in this webinar today. This is for the 2026 Manufacturing Leadership Awards to talk specifically about nominations coming from technology and consulting partners. So these are all about those nominations that you might want to do for your manufacturing clients and help to highlight some of the great things that you all have been accomplishing together. So let me click through my guide here. There's a couple of sort of what I'm going to do is just use this basically walk through this guide with you today. Again, you can refer to this later, and if you have any questions along the way, either drop them in the chat or just, I mean, there's not a lot of us here, so just shout out. Totally fine. The first couple of pages of this guide just talk a little bit about what these partner nominations are. So like I mentioned, this is for technology and consulting partners who are nominating their manufacturing clients and or some of the executives that you've been working on these projects with, the people that are leading these projects at those manufacturing organizations. You are also eligible to submit your own executive leadership to the digital transformation leadership individual category as well, as long as that nomination is for somebody who's actively involved in strategizing and developing those, again, those digital transformation initiatives. And there's a lot of things in here that spell out exactly what that eligibility is. So I won't hit on this too much, but I know some of you have a lot of experience with the awards and have definitely been through all of this before. One thing I will say in here, are a couple of important notes. If you do have other collaborating organizations that you've worked with on a nomination, you are absolutely welcome to include that in the nomination. There is a space for you to add that. If there is more than one more collaborating partner, so if there's more than 2 collaborating partners, you can add those as well, but we are going to charge $95 per additional company. So that's something kind of new that we've done this year. We don't see that a whole lot, but just in case, you know, some of you had some mega project that you did with a lot of different entities, you are able to recognize all of them. One other thing to know is that any manufacturing enterprise is welcome to submit up to 5 projects per season. Sometimes, because some of these enterprises are very, very large, these a client that you work with may have submitted their own projects. They may have another partner that has submitted projects on their behalf. So if we see that more than 5 nominations have been submitted for any one enterprise, we will go back to the manufacturer for them to determine which ones they want to submit to the judging panel. That right of first refusal and that determination lies with them. But if you happen to be one of the nominating organizations that they decided not to move forward with, we will refund your nomination fee if there's anything that you paid for that. So just know there's no risk there, but on occasion this does come up where we kind of exceed our ceiling maximum for some of these enterprises. You would be copied on all the communication for that, but just so you know a little bit about how that works. Any questions before I move on? All right. Just some general program timeline things. We are accepting applications through January 16th. Those of you who've been around this for a while know that we tend to fudge that a couple of weeks, but we're going to say right now that every single entry is going to be through the door by January 16th. And their chances are there will be an extension, but we'll just, again, January 16th, we'll keep that in mind. After we get all of those, we do read through every nomination to make sure it meets the eligibility requirements, and then we will send it over to our judges panel for scoring. I'm going to talk a little bit more about who our judges are in a minute here. We do, and basically, we like to give our judges about 2.5, 3 weeks for them to sift through everything, complete their scoring and their analysis. After they're done with that, it will come back to us. We on the MLC content team will review those scores and then determine how to move forward with, again, who's going to be added to our list of finalists for that year. So as of now, we are planning to inform our finalists around March 20th of 2026. So that's when you'll find out if you've moved on to the next round. We will do our public finalist announcement on April 10th. And then on June 24th, we have our fabulous Manufacturing Leadership Awards Gala and Dinner, which is at a great new home this year at the Fairmont Princess in Scottsdale, Arizona. So we've moved away from Florida, at least for now. So that's very exciting. Most of you have worked with Lauren to some degree on your sponsorship relationship with us. So in general, you're as a partner, if you're a member of the MLC, you're eligible for up to 4 project nominations from among your clients and 4 individual nominations, again, from among your clients. So if you have any questions about how to redeem that, just reach out to me or reach out to Lauren, and we're happy to get you set up with all that when you're ready to hit enter on those nominations. And below that here, we've just got a couple of important links, where our full program details are available on our website, plus the online nomination platform at Awards Force. Let's talk just a little bit about the eligibility. So again, like I was saying before, this is for you technology and consulting partners. And if any of you are here from a non-corporate organization looking to nominate your manufacturing clients and partners within that project category, you don't have to be a member of the MLC or the NAM or the IRI or any of this other family of acronyms that we have here. Any manufacturer in the world is eligible to enter. We define a manufacturer as an organization that produces finished goods from raw materials and then sells those goods to consumers, wholesalers, distributors, retailers, or other manufacturers. So standalone products and equipment, software, any transportation or logistics provider, distributors, any other service provider is not eligible for these awards. We do know that they are important to the digital manufacturing journey, but the scope of this program is strictly for digital manufacturing projects and the individuals who are leading those initiatives. Some of you here, I think, are from our non-corporate partners as well. So a non-corporate entity we define as a university, a government organization, a trade association, or a professional society, or anything similar along those lines. The projects must be directly tied to a company's manufacturing operations. And the most important part is it needs to illustrate how digital technology was integral to that project's success. Projects that have been previously recognized by the awards are not eligible for re-entry, but I will hang a but on that. If it's a project that was submitted several years ago and in the meantime has hit some very significant scaling milestones, has developed significantly in a few years, you're welcome to re-enter something like that as long as it wasn't named a category winner. Okay, so if it was a finalist in a previous year, you're welcome to enter those again as long as they've hit some significant milestones in their development along the way.
Penny, real quickly,
Yeah.
let's say we submitted in 2022. Is that enough time to resubmit if,
Um,
again, we have significant
Yeah,
outcomes?
I think that's okay. You know, if it's something that when in 2022 you submitted something and it was maybe like a pilot or it was only on like one
Yeah,
production line,
yeah,
but now it's like scaled through a whole
yeah.
facility, it's got a bunch more use cases. Yeah, I think that's okay because we have certainly seen evolutions of what a company is doing with digital over time, and you can see where it's built on something they submitted a prior year. So that's
Okay,
totally fine. Definitely
great.
acceptable.
Thank
Um, Now, if you did submit an entry that was not recognized in a past year, or it didn't make the cut as a finalist, you are absolutely welcome to re-enter that as well. Again, as long as it is continued to hit some development milestones along the way. Basically, from a time scale, we're looking for something that's happened about in roughly the prior year from when the season opened. So let's say our season opened at September 1st of this year, September 1st, 2025. Anything that's going back to September 1st, 2024 is eligible to be in this year's awards program. So just something again that's active and continuing to show some development. Let's see. I think I already went over that. Okay, so here's the important part, our judging criteria for the project nominations. Now, keep in mind who our judges are. They tend to be MLC members, they're past winners. Basically, they are people in an executive leadership position who are highly knowledgeable about manufacturing operations and highly knowledgeable about how digital technology plays into that. So basically, when you're creating these entries, you definitely want to keep that audience in mind. You are writing for those judges. And these are going to be the criteria that they are going to assess your entry against. So the process impact is, did this project transform a key process or maybe even introduce an entirely new one that resulted in greater efficiency, greater speed, better performance, entirely new dimension of value for that company? What about the business impact? Is this something that has helped the company grow financially? It's helped them build their market share. It's helped them to find new customers, all those kinds of things for the business. The strategic impact, is this something that is tied to a company's long-term business goals? Is it furthering its digital transformation and or expanding its future growth opportunities? Use of technology, as I mentioned, this is a big one. To what extent was the use of advanced technology key to enabling this project? And finally, the scale. So is this something that, again, is just a pilot at this point, or something that's maybe limited to like one single production line, or is this something that we're seeing throughout a company's operational footprint? So those are the things that the judges are going to be looking for when they're assessing your entry. I'm not going to get too deep into project categories here. I'll let you read these on your own. We didn't change them too much this year. We tweaked them a little bit to try to introduce some new elements and sort of draw some, I guess, stronger boundaries between some of them. All I will say is don't get too stressed out about this, okay? So everything that comes in, we're all, every single entry, I'm reading all of them to make sure that it is where it fits the best. So if you put in something and you're like, well, I think this is, let's say, a digital supply chain project, but then, when we assess it on this side and we're looking at all those other entries, it looks like, really this fits in better as a business model transformation project. What we're trying to do is put apples and apples together and oranges together to make life better for the judges and hopefully have a better outcome for all of you, so that they are sort of, again, grading some projects that have a similar objective and or a similar theme. So don't get too stressed out about this. There's 9 project categories, and we will absolutely make sure that this entry is where it needs to be, and we'll let you know if it moved somewhere else, but don't lose any sleep about that. Individual nominations. So, like I said, this year, or this is where you can again nominate those awesome executive leaders that you've been working on these digital projects with, or again, nominate some of your own executive leadership as long as it's in the digital transformation category. We have 2 categories for individuals this year. One is next generation leadership, which is for anyone who's had basically an operations career, manufacturing operations career for 10 years or less as of December 31st of this year. So December 31st, 2025. So 10 years or less of experience for them. Digital transformation leadership is meant for more of that senior executive that's been doing some of these leadership things for some time, really kind of creating some significant strategies. That's how we differentiate the two. And you are welcome to put your own executive leaders into that digital transformation leadership category. Kind of like with the projects, if you've been recognized before, sorry, you can't play again. We've already given you 1 trophy. The only exception to this is if you had somebody that, say, was recognized as a next generation leader and now they've matured to the point of being ready for that digital transformation leadership category, absolutely, you can certainly nominate them for that, and that is totally fine. But other than that, unfortunately, you only get 1 ride on the carousel, sorry to say. These are the judging criteria for those individual categories. So digital transformation leadership with that executive side, we're looking for their company impact. How are they impacting their organization? How are they furthering that company's operational digital transformation goals? How about their impact on the industry? Is this somebody that another manufacturing leader would recognize as perhaps a role model and say, you know what, I think this person is really what I would say is a solid example of a leader in today's manufacturing digital age. That's what we're looking for the industry impact. And finally, the manufacturing impact. Is there something that this individual's achievement, is there a way that this individual's achievement could serve as a model for how to conduct manufacturing operations at other companies? So would another company look at what this person's doing and say, yes, I would like to adopt something like what they're doing within my own operations? Moving into that next generation leadership category, we are looking for disruptive innovation impact. So that means basically, is this person bringing new ideas to the table? Are they promoting new ways of thinking? Their collaborative innovation impact, are they playing nicely with others within their organization? Really building those cross-functional teams, taking a collaborative approach to everything that they're doing. And finally, the social impact. This just means, would another emerging leader look at this individual and say, you know what, manufacturing, I think is a good career. This person is really showing the value of what manufacturing means. So those are the things that the judges will be looking for those next gen leaders. A little bit about the program FAQ. I got into this a little bit about who the judges are. Just know that it's not me and it's not anybody else from the MLC, although David Bursell does sometimes serve on our panel. But by and large, these are not judged by us at the MLC. These are judged by, again, industry executives. We do a really, we try really hard to bring in some very high caliber leaders to do this job, and very thankful that they're willing to give us the time to do that. What's it mean to be awards finalist? Well, that means awesome job. That means the judges said that your project and or individual was good enough to be shortlisted to move on to the next round to potentially be named a winner. So if you're named a finalist, that's awesome, and that is absolutely reason to celebrate. Is your entry confidential? Yes, absolutely it is. Excuse me. We will share nothing about your award publicly beyond the company's name and the project title without talking to you first. So we're not going to share anything. We do require that our judges sign a confidentiality agreement every year. We also work very hard not to assign any entries to judges who would be a direct competitor or would have any other conflict of interest. So we're, try to farm that out too. You don't have to worry about your direct competitors scoring any of your awards. And obviously, we're not going to give an entry to a judge from their own company to score either. So really trying to make sure everything is fair there as much as possible, and we're protecting your information too. I already talked a little bit about picking the right categories, and the short answer is don't stress about it. And then what do you get as an award honoree? So you're going to get a chance to come to that fabulous gala and dinner in Scottsdale. You're going to get a custom awards trophy that's going to be shipped right to the address of your choice. You'll get recognition on stage at the awards gala and inclusion in all of our public announcements for the great partnership and the work that you all have done. What happens at the gala? I know a lot of you have been there. It is like way fun. It's the best party of the year, and you all should come. That's all I'll say about it. You don't have to be present to win, but it is way more fun if you are. You can promote your award through social graphic, or we will provide you with social graphics and a press release template that you are welcome to use and leverage however you would like. Absolutely share the good news. If your project is named as a finalist, make sure that you're telling your employees, your leadership, your other clients, everybody, get the word out that you guys have done a really great job. Just quickly want to mention the Future of Manufacturing Award because we do get questions about this. Formerly, it was known as the Manufacturing in 2030 Award. Basically, these are projects that we at the MLC have reviewed and seen them to be especially innovative or forward-thinking in their application. So this is basically like what you would say, hey, we hope all manufacturers are doing something like this in the future. This isn't really something that you can apply for separately. These are just things that we, again, sort of call out from the MLC side as, yeah, this is really an exciting project, and we just want to give it a little extra recognition. So just a little bit of word about that. We also name at the gala the Manufacturing Leader of the Year and our Manufacturers of the Year. Any nomination that you submit and is selected as a finalist is automatically entered for both of those awards. So you don't, again, have to apply separately for those. They're already under our consideration if you've submitted a nomination this year for those prizes. And finally, if your entry wasn't selected as a finalist, well, now what? We are a competitive program. Unfortunately, not everything makes it through. But You're welcome to contact me. I'm happy to talk to you about the judges' feedback, what they had to say about the scoring. We do ask for the judges to give us feedback on those entries so we can kind of get an idea of what they're thinking. And again, if that project continues to reach additional milestones, you're always welcome to put it in again next year. Okay, tips for success. So if you don't read anything else in this guide, just pay attention to this page. It's important. What you want to think about here is telling your complete story or telling the complete story of this project. Now, again, think back to your audience. That would be the judges. And just remember, they've got an incredible knowledge base, but they don't know specifically about your project or what you have achieved. So the more details you can give them to help them understand and give them context, the better off that you're going to be and the more successful that you're going to be as well. Just know brevity is not your friend here. I know a lot of times we have people coming in and saying, oh, well, I tried to make this entry short as possible, quick to the point. And that's all good, but I wouldn't do that here. Just if you can give us any sort of KPIs, especially financial metrics, those are incredibly helpful. I know it gets really sensitive with sharing anything financially, but if you can, even if it's a ballpark figure, again, that's going to help the judges really understand the impact of what's been going on, what the project has achieved. And again, sort of telling that story start to finish. So what was the problem you were looking to solve initially? How did you arrive at coming to the solution that you determined to use? You know, how did it just walking it through start to finish to talk about your success story is really what you want to do here. With the individuals, you know, kind of the same thing. Just remember the context. This is somebody, maybe the judge knows who this person is, but chances are they don't. So really spell it out again, what this person has achieved, and give a really complete picture of the individual's accomplishments. So what I would say from this is don't worry about being too wordy. Tell us as much as you can because it is going to help you. There are opportunities also in AwardForce to attach supporting documentation. So that could be like a slide presentation, a video, something like that. Anything else that you want to add in there, you are absolutely welcome to do that too. Okay, how to create a nomination. This is all on AwardsForce. I know a lot of you already have accounts on there, so you're familiar with how this all works. You can save your work as you go, so you don't have to sit down and do a complete entry on one, you know, in one session. You know, it's kind of like TurboTax. You can stop, take a break, and come back to it later on. So again, feel like you can take your time with all of this. With the guide that I will send you a PDF version of this guide that includes sample forms at the end, so you can see all the fields that are going to be asked when you put in your nomination. Just one point about payment, and I don't know if any of you are here outside of the United States. Unfortunately, the way our accounting system is set up, we can't accept credit cards that are issued outside of the US through AwardForce, but we can accept it separately. I don't know, this is a long way of saying if you have a credit card that is from outside of the US, it's not going to work on AwardForce, but we will work with you on payment. So just contact us and we'll work out those arrangements. But just a little caveat there. All right. Well, I've been talking a lot. So do you all have any questions for me?
Yes, I have it. Thank you very much. I'm Hassan Qasemi from the GM General Motors. A couple of questions on the news. Sorry if I ask it, something is obvious for everyone. So is number one, from GM, which is a corporate, is it our executive level needs to submit it, the project level from manufacturing leadership? Do you have a category of individual or category of individual and category of the project, digital
So
manufacturing?
we have two separate, we have project categories and we have individual categories. And to answer your question about who can submit it, it does not need to be an executive. You do need to list an executive sponsor on the project with their contact information, but they themselves do not actually need to submit it.
Okay.
Basically, the submission can be done by anybody.
Okay. And then for the GM, are you receiving from a single point of contact? Because you're saying 5, and if it is above 5, you come back to these corporates.
Right. It really kind of depends year to year. You know, like I said, we sometimes, because there are different teams, it basically, like, long story short, no, it's fine. If GM sends us entries from, you know, two different people or whatever, that's like, really, that's okay.
Okay.
The only issue is, again, if it goes past the limit, but we'll get in touch with you if that happens.
Okay.
And I know, again, GM is an enormous company, so there's probably no way you can know this, but if you
Yeah.
happen to know that anyone's maybe working on an entry, you know, you might want to coordinate with them, but
Sure.
I know that's easier said than done.
Okay. So there's individual and project, which is related to digital manufacturing. So we have a 2 category to submit.
Right, there's two, right, exactly. There's two types of categories, exactly. There's the project categories, and there's 9 of those, and then there's our individual categories, and there's 2 of those. If
And
that
this 5 for each corporate, including both of these pillars, these 2 pillars, we say 5 maximum for one
five
corporate.
for 5 projects. You can do up to 5. Yeah, so you can submit up to 5 projects. As far as individuals go, you are welcome to submit up to 3, because you, as a manufacturer, this is a little bit different
Yes.
from our technology and consulting partners.
Yes.
You are eligible to nominate up to 3 individuals for each of those categories. So that would be 6 individuals that you can put in total.
Okay. I see.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, sure. Anyone else? Well, I
Yeah, this is
appreciate
super
all of you.
helpful. Thank you.
Oh, sure, Susan. Thanks for joining in. Like I said, you're going to get a link to this recording and a guide after this call as soon as it's all uploaded and ready to go. Might take a day or two, but thank you so much for, if you're on the East Coast, spending part of your lunch break with me. And if you have any questions or anything along the way, feel free to reach out to me, reach out to anybody on the MLC team. We really want to see you succeed, and we are happy to help.
Thank you very much.
All right, everyone.
Thank you.
Thanks
Thank you.
again.
Thank you.
All
All
right,
right.
talk to you later.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.